Okay. I think the exactly that's what I was waiting for. All right. Good evening, everyone. Omomi by name, as you all know, for those that has always been joining our events from last year, and yeah, it's another edition of the Legacy Lab series of Legacy Lab digital series. And last month, which was the March edition, we spoke about coding is not enough, where we were charged on how to level up our skills apart from coding, other things we can do to have leverage over others that are doing just coding. What are the other things we could do? Few months back, which was February, we had a talk about product management, and for January, we spoke about positioning our career growth in tech. And today, I believe you guys should be sending your emojis by now. You know how we do it. Today, we are having the topic breaking into tech. Breaking into tech. First of all, we start with positioning our career growth. We talked about product management. We talked about coding is not enough. How about people that don't have the idea of how they're going to break into tech? How are they going to be? That is one of the reasons we are bringing this topic for this month's edition. And we have Mr. Jeremiah Kolawole, an information security officer at Core. This our speaker and no be small person. No, you guys, like, normally we don't used to have mellows as speakers on this event. So I need you guys to start sending your emojis now. I need you guys to send in your emojis for our speaker, because he will be coming on board very soon to enlighten us on how to go about this, on how to break into tech, give us tips to successful tech career. This one no be beans. You should be ready. Even if you are into tech already, I believe there are some points that will definitely help you leverage more in the field of tech. And I'll be welcoming Mr. Jeremiah Kolawole to take charge of the event right now. We're ready to learn from you, sir. You're welcome. Good evening, sir, once again.
Hi, Omomi. Good evening. How are you today?
I'm fine.
All right. Great, great. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to have been granted this opportunity to speak to the people on the call and possibly to those that would listen to the recording. My name is Jeremiah Kolawole, as I've been introduced, and um, I've gone by a number of titles, but everything just sums up under being an information security officer, and I work with Core. That's a fintech in Nigeria. Okay, so today we'll be dealing with the topic that has already been introduced, breaking into tech. I have a number of slides I'd like to present, if you don't mind, so we can walk through them together and would see what the topic is about. Okay, in a couple seconds, my screen will be up. Okay. Please let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see it now.
All right, thank you very much. So I'm going to start this presentation with a number of tips. These are just summary tips that I'd like to introduce as a baseline. The first is coming into the tech workspace or the tech ecosystem. one thing you need to know how to do very well is to do your own research, and that's because, so that's number one, and that's because there's a lot of opinions, there's a lot of information flying around. Just 2 days ago, a very authoritative handle in the cybersecurity space posted something that was meant to be a joke, and then a Twitter bot took it up and made it into an headline, and then they now came back to, make a joke around it about the fact that the tweet was also supposed to be a joke. Now imagine if someone had already acted on that information that the bot made into an headline, it probably would have just led to a waste of time. And that's why it is important for us as tech enthusiasts, as tech professionals, to do our own research. Very important. And thankfully, we have a lot of resources that enables us to get information as much as we want. So that's number one. Then number two, opinions versus facts. Now, human beings, I think, at the risk of sounding generalistic, human beings are opinionated, right? So you would have your own opinion, and I'd have my own opinion. I may be of the opinion that Fanta is sweeter than Coke, while you would almost cut my head for saying that, and then you would ask me what happened to Sprite, right? So these are different opinions, but they are facts, right? And facts are undisputable, facts are cast in stone, and they are what they are. So while you are, breaking into this industry, while you're trying to, get into the tech space, you need to be able to differentiate between opinions and facts. Then number three, I mean, this list is inexhaustive, but I just wanted to bring up three that I feel would be very important for us. So the third one would be opportunities. You should know that there's a lot of opportunities in the tech space, and the opportunities will only come to those that have positioned themselves, right? So you would not expect a recruiter to hire you if you are just wishing to get a job in the tech space, right? So there are opportunities, and there is a bit of you positioning yourself to, to claim them, to tap into those opportunities, very importantly. And maybe along the line, I might just add one or two dry jokes, but don't worry, they are dry. They won't make you laugh. Okay, now I have a statistics I dug up from Arise News that says experts says over 4 million jobs are available for Nigerians with special tech skills. So I went through the trouble of looking for statistics that applies to Nigerians. So if we have about 4 million jobs available, then that means these jobs have not been filled. These positions are empty, and these positions are ranging from entry level up until say managerial roles, and there are 4 million of them. And for number of us here, I believe this rings a bell of opportunity to us, that signals to us and says there's a space for me in the tech world, right? And now what you need to do is, what you ask yourself the question, not just, and you won't stop at asking yourself the question. First you ask yourself the question, what do you need to do to position yourself to get a job in this tech space, and then you act on it, right? So hopefully I'll be able to answer some of your questions, and I'll be able to provide you with um you know insights into how you can get this done. Now, what's tech, right? Or what is the tech industry? What does it look like? Or in summary, not to bore you with a lot of definitions or a lot of English, tech is just digital technology, technological innovations applied in an established industry. So different industries. We have the financial industry, um, we have the medicine, or how do you call it now, the health industry. We have a lot, oil and gas, a lot of industries, and all of these industries, they leverage tech in one way or the other to function, right? So in the oil and gas, they use different tech um, instruments these days. They've a lot of these up-to-date oil and gas industries have phased out the manual instrumentation that they use for work, and it has all been that they've been digitized. Same applies to other industries that we know about, right? So the tech industry encompasses several business sectors: the e-commerce, the internet and software services, the financial technology, consumer electronics, telecommunications. Mention them. They are all under the umbrella of the tech industry, one way or the other. All of these industries, they utilize one bit of tech industry. So this is to give you an idea and to let you know that the word tech is big, and or the tech industry is big, and it is wide, and it's very different from how each and every one of us sees it, right? So we just need to tap into a bit of it, one in the area where we want to specialize, and then we go with the flow. Okay, so career paths in tech. We have a lot. Again, let me say that this list is non-exhaustive, right? So there's a lot. I could fill this slide and the next 5 slides with different career paths in tech. So these are just the ones that stand out. These are the ones um, that are popular and are well known, especially in the Nigerian tech space. Okay, so I'll just do a very brief. Sorry, does anybody? Is someone speaking? All right. So I'll do a brief intro to some of these career paths and just to let you know what they do. Um, I think, can we mute if we're not saying anything, if we don't have questions? Okay. Right. So first is the software engineer. Like we know software engineers, or if okay, I'm not going to assume we know, but software engineers are those that develop programs for computers, right? And then the web developers, they develop programs and applications for the web applications. Then we have the data scientists, the architects, the analysts, and the engineers. These are different roles in the sense that they all do different things. Data scientists collects and clean data, right, for use. And a data analyst, works on the data that has been cleaned by the scientist to, make business decisions, to make predictions, maybe machine learning algorithms. The data architect and engineers, they build infrastructures, right, that enables the analysts and the scientists to do their work. So when you hear things about data warehouse, how do you know how to build a data warehouse? What are the components that are involved in having a data warehouse? Or how do you know you need to warehouse a data, right? So the data analysts and data engineers and the architects will fall into this role. Then for the business intelligence, also they work with data. So they work side by side, data analysts and scientists. They use data to give business insights to top management, and then this enables top management to make decisions based on what the data is telling them. We have the user experience designer. These are the guys that design the beautiful interfaces we see on our web applications and on our browsers, or even on our mobile applications. So they deal most of the time with the front end bits, the part that is visible to the users. Then we have database administrator. This is a very important field in the space, in the tech space, in the sense that most of our applications we use these days, they rely on one database or the other, right? So we have like the database administrators knows that if an application that relies on a database does not function properly, or the database is not functioning properly, then there's a problem. So the person that manages the database is database administrator. Then we have information security or cyber security analyst. These are the set of people that protects your information. They are concerned with safeguarding your information, and some okay, well, their scope of work might extend beyond just protecting and safeguarding information. They might also um, go into carrying out vulnerability assessments and other cybersecurity related activities. Then we have the mobile developers. Those are the the guys that develop applications for our mobile devices, the iOS, the Android, and other operating systems that we have out there. Then network engineers, these guys are also really important in the tech space because they help us with the connectivity, end-to-end connectivity of our network, right? So if you have an application running and you have not properly configured your network connections, then your user won't be able to use the application, right? So thanks to our network engineers, they make us access our applications without stress and without problems. Then again, video game designers, these are those that specifically design video games, right? And we know how the gaming industry is really, really booming, right? I know you must have heard of people that pay money to play game in their thousands and hundreds of thousands, and people that even make money from playing games. So it's not a small industry. And the guys that develop the games, those are video game designers. Then we have applications engineers, or as I would like to term it, application managers. So after these applications have been designed and developed and deployed by the software engineer and the web developer and the video game designer, we have some guys that are, tasked with the duty of managing these applications, of ensuring that they are they are running smoothly. If we need to do some fixes, we need to do some updates or some patches, the application managers or engineers would be in the best position to do that. And then computer scientists, of course, computer scientists. This sounds a lot like a generic role. A computer scientist understands the inner workings of a computer. And well, like I said, it's really generic. Then the IT manager, well, the IT manager, an IT manager can be a manager in the database admin role, a manager in say information and cyber security role, but this is like a high level role in the IT space, right? So you go from being an analyst to maybe a professional, or depending on the grading of the roles in the organization. So you go from being maybe a level 1 to a level 4, and then being a level 4 makes you a manager. So yeah, that. Then we have the digital marketing. So I know you must have heard of SEOs, that's search engine optimization. You must have heard of all of these ad placements on the internet and on social media and all of that. So the digital marketing guys are in this space. They ensure that your your program basically ranks well on the internet and is visible to the target market. Let me put it that way, because people that people that are in Nigeria now, say for instance, again, this is my opinion, people in Nigeria are probably looking for where to get cheap solar panels, and so if I sell cheap solar panels, I need to target my goods to that demography, right? So I need a digital marketer to rank me up in the maybe on search engines and on different platforms, and ensure that people see my products, right? Then IT support. So these are backbones in the IT world, right? They are very important because they help to troubleshoot and fix problems. So you might have different problems ranging from connectivity to hardware or software related problems, or sometimes it might even be, something related to information security, right? So IT support, we have IT support personnel for different roles or for different areas in the tech space. So we can have IT support guys for database, or the IT support guys for the data science world, or IT support guys in the cyber security space. So again, these guys provide support to users, right? So they are like middlemen between the main analyst, right, and then between the main analyst and the users. So these are the IT support guys, and project management. So these are the guys that manage projects. Let me just use that word. They manage projects in the sense that there's a lot of you know there's a lot of stages involved in starting and finishing a project, right? So say for instance, I want to push new websites into the market. And I need a developer. I need a maybe a developer who is a back-end engineer. I need a user experience and designer who is a front-end guy. I need a database administrator. I need a cybersecurity person that would run tests on the application once they're done. I need an application manager that will manage the application. So all of this, all of these guys will probably not be able to talk to each other or know when one stage has started and when it has ended if there is no person coordinating these activities. And this falls under the purview of the project manager, right? So the project manager ensures that from start to end the project goes on smoothly without any hitch. And then we have the AI engineers. Of course, we know AI is the next is a booming thing now in tech space. So there are people that are working in the back end, training the machine learning algorithms with a lot of data. And I think I heard a speech. Should I call it a speech? I watched a video from Mark Zuckerberg, said something about um, releasing one of their AI models that they have been training for years now. I can't remember the number of years. So imagine training a model or an AI model for years. So it takes a lot of inputs, takes a lot of data, data mining, data cleaning, and packaging, and all of those things that goes into artificial intelligence. There's a lot. There's a so off the top of my head, I can think of technical writers as well. Tech writers. These are people that they don't even probably need to understand the nitty gritty of the popular tech like we know. So if unfortunately, I think tech to a number of people sounds like coding, right? So if I tell someone I'm in tech, the next thing that comes to their mind is, oh, he does coding, or he knows how to write programming in some languages that I don't know or that looks very complex. No, that's not all what tech is about. A project manager might not need to know about the programming language. And a digital marketer as well might not need to know about the programming language, right? So it's different. The career paths in tech depends on let me say this, depends on your strengths and your the parts where you are interested in going into. So if as a person I love designs, I know how to draw, I know how to you know create very beautiful drawings, why would I want to be a network engineer when I can just be a user experience designer, right? Or if I'm someone that I'm a natural born leader. I know how to coordinate groups. I know how to make people do what I want them to do. I know what to tell them to make them happy, and then they do what I need them to do. I'll just I would thrive more as a project manager than as a business intelligence person, right? So now what I'm trying to drive at here is the fact that you need to figure out what you are ordinarily good at, and then you can leverage it into selecting a career in tech. That makes it easy for you. That way, you love what you do, and you're not just doing it for the sake of doing it. And then you know what they say about when you love what you do, it becomes easy, and making money becomes fun. So now I think I made this one very bold and big and loud. Feels like I'm shouting here, and that's because it is very important to emphasize the need to get skilled, right? So a number of people, okay, so I am in the cybersecurity industry, and certifications are a big thing in this industry, right? So um, apologies to those in cybersecurity. I'm not about to say anything bad, anyways, but it feels sometimes that people run after certifications than the skills, right? So you see, for example, maybe someone has some serious certification in cybersecurity and they don't even know what TCP/IP mean, right? Or they don't know, if you ask them to tell you a TTL from a ping results, they don't know what that is. So, like, then what are you doing with this certification, right? So it is very important. It cannot be overemphasized. Skills first. You need to get the skills. The skills will set you apart, and it even makes getting certifications easier. So while certifications have their values, Prioritizing skills can provide a strong foundation for a long-term success and adaptability in the ever-changing field of technology. So one thing I've come to notice in the few years I've spent in this tech space is the fact that the tech field is always changing, right? It's always changing. So your skills will make you adapt, right? So if you don't have the skills, if you write a certification, say last year, there might be, areas or topics covered in that certification that are obsolete, right? But if you didn't have the skill, you just see the certification, then as those areas are getting obsolete, then you're also getting obsolete. But if you have the skill, then you're adapting as the industry is adapting. It makes you stand out, right? So again, it cannot be overemphasized. Skills first. Now, in no particular order, I've listed some skills on this slide, and they don't look a lot like technical skills, but trust me, if you have these skills, you can adapt, you can evolve, you can survive, and a lot of other words that I can't think of right now. So problem solving skills. So how do you see problems? How do you think about, or what do you think about when you come across a problem? Do you run away and leave it, or do you tackle it and you be like, we die here today, right? So it's very important. You need to develop the tenacity. Yeah, I hope that's correct in that context. You need to develop the tenacity to solve problems. Don't accept. I don't think there's a problem that can be solved, right? You might not just know the solution, but there's a solution out there. And one way to solve problems is asking for help as well. So developing this skill is very important and it contributes a lot to your success in the tech space. You have to be able to think critically. It's really important as well. These days we have a lot of programs that are coming up that requires critical thinking. You might not be, the demands in the tech space are changing. Like I said, it's ever, changing, evolving. And so these days you need to think critically. What you do before might not suffice again. You need to, up your game and step it up a bit, right? So this, you have to start, getting involved in projects, bringing yourself up to date with the current happenings in the world of tech in the space where you're interested. Again, let me say that it doesn't make sense, pardon me for using that word, but it doesn't make sense to be a jack of all trade in the tech space. um, Now, that is not to say that there is no interconnectivity in the tech space as well. I'm in the cybersecurity industry and I know a thing or two about DevOps. I know a thing or two about database administration and network management. And there is interconnectivity, that's granted. But I specialize much more in the cybersecurity space than in all of those space. So if I need to put on my critical thinking hats now, it should be because um, I'm trying to figure out a way to get something done in my niche, right? So if other areas are coming into play, like okay, I need to figure out the network configuration, I need to troubleshoot a database problem. Again, that's because there's this interconnectivity that cannot be denied. And if I am a critical thinker in my space, I will be able to find out the problems that find out solutions to the problem that has come up in this area where my space and another space interconnects. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, you need to be able to think critically and find solutions to your problem. Again, adaptability, we've said it before. The tech world is always changing, always changing. I don't know if okay, so I was going to mention again, I am more conversant with happenings in the cybersecurity industry, so pardon me. So there was a vulnerability that broke out a couple of years back, and it was during Christmas. That's why I probably will never forget it, because we're supposed to go and eat chicken for the Christmas break. And then it broke out. And 2 days before, if somebody had, developed a program, so the vulnerability is log4j. I don't know, a number of us might know it. It's a Java-based vulnerability. So if somebody had deployed an application based on log4j 2 days earlier, they would have certified the application clean because at the time it wasn't vulnerable. Then 2 days later, it's already vulnerable. So the way adaptability comes in here is that, okay, how do we fix this problem? So now we cannot use this version of log4j again. Now there are different angles to this. Now there are some people that are concerned with fixing the problem. There are others that are concerned with making the application work with newer versions of the Log4j or older versions, backward compatibility and all of that. So how do you adapt to the ever-changing world of tech? And this is not only particular to the cybersecurity industry. It also works as the same way in other industries as well. So how do you adapt? How h- are are you stagnant? Are you just there writing your lines of code or trying to develop or trying to draw some UX, and you'd see that people are bringing up more interactive designs and different ways to to do user input and all of that. So yeah, adaptability is very important. And then we have teamwork and collaboration. You cannot do it alone, right? A tree does not make up a forest. You need to find like-minded people in your area of choice that you need to, collaborate with. You need to work with. You need to share idea with, right? It's very important because that's how you would easily thrive in the tech space. Then you need to be creative and you need to be innovative. This technical proficiency will come when you start gathering skills for yourself, when you start learning how to do things. And another thing that I cannot overemphasize is continuous learning. You need to learn every day like your life depends on it. I mean, not literally, but of course you need to know how important it is. You need to at least do I don't think I'll be preaching what I don't practice, but at the very um least, yeah, you need to do maybe it might not be very comfortable for everybody, but at least 1 hour per day, you need to learn something new. You need to add to your portfolio of skills, right? So you need to learn how to do something in a new way or in a different way, or you just need to add new knowledge, right, to your existing knowledge. Very important. It will help you stand out. It will help you be informed with what is happening. Also, your communication skills, they matter. Some of us we work in areas or in places where we probably don't even need to talk to people. Maybe we just need to write our codes and deploy it to the repository, and that's it. We don't need to talk to people. But that's a fallacy, right? You at some point you'd have to present what you've done to maybe your team members or your team leader or even to top management. So your communication skills are very important. How do you communicate technical things from non-technical things, right? The top execs, the executives, they probably don't know tech stuff, and you're the tech guy. So how do you come down or go up to their level of reasoning? They only know how will this thing work for us? How will it make money for us? So how are you going to translate your coding, your application, your projects to money, right? So you're translating tech to money. So again, also maybe delivering um maybe daily updates or scrums or catch ups and all of those things to your team members. How do you communicate what you've done to them? Communication skills are very important in this space. Attention to details, again, like I said, there are times when you write maybe a 3,000 line code, and then your code is failing to build because there's an error somewhere on line 53 and it's just a full stop that you should have used a comma for there. So that would probably, I know maybe anyone has been in that position before. It can be very frustrating. So you need to pay a lot of attention to detail. And in my own space, if you sleep in paying attention to detail, it can be the difference between saving 100 billion and losing 100 billion, right? So very important to do that, pay attention to details. Time management, of course, we need to talk about this. It's very important in everything we're doing. We need to keep to time. Yes, it is understandable that some projects are lengthy than the others, but we need to keep to time in everything we're doing. So I've listed a number of introductory IT certifications here. Now, I think I took a lot of time to stress that you need to skill up first. And then when you skill up, you would now get it will become easier for you to write certifications. At some points during my career, I probably, because I tried to read a lot of things. If I had to write maybe one exam or the other, I probably don't even read a lot for them. I remember a scenario. I had to write the exam because I got a voucher and it was expiring, and it was I had 4 PDFs to read, and each PDF was at least 200 pages, and I had just one day to read those PDF. All I did, I just scanned through the PDFs. I scanned through it, looked at what might be, new to me, and I wrote the exam and I passed, right? So this is to let you know that don't certifications will come, right? But don't jump into certifications. Skill up, learn a lot first before you start writing certifications. It makes it easy for you really to pass certifications. So, but these are introductory IT certificates that you can get certifications. While preaching a lot about scaling up, it's also important to add that certifications they will give you an edge, because some recruiters, they are looking for what certifications you have in your CV. And the good part about it is a number of these certifications are free. Again, let me add that this list is inexhaustive, right, or non-exhaustive. So it's a lot I can't fit into this slide. So, but for CompTIA, we have the IT fundamentals, A plus, Network plus, Security plus, Linux Essential. As far as I know, is free. There are some Microsoft certifications that are free as well. A number of Cisco certifications are free. AWS and Google. I think the Google bit also, a lot of Google certifications are free as well. So if there's a URL that Google has dedicated to their tech certifications are free. AWS, you can do the training on their website, and maybe you pay a few bucks for the exam for the certifications. So maybe I also need to add here that your career is your business, like your literal business, like what's your business you're investing in. So you also need to, at some point, um, you need to understand that you need to spend money to also level up, right? So there are times when you maybe spend like 10,000 naira or 20,000 naira to buy a course on Udemy or Coursera, or sometimes the courses are free and at other times you need to pay. So don't feel bad if you need to pay for a course. It's for your own advantage and it's for your own knowledge, right? So whatever knowledge you gain from those courses can never be taken away from you. So that's the good part. Then we have thousands and thousands of resources that are available to us and they are free, right? Is that the question? Okay, I'm assuming that is not a question. So we have, free resources available to us on the internet. We even have, you could be taking a course from Harvard and you finish, maybe you even get a certificate of completion, and then you're showing to someone that I have a certificate from Harvard University, right? Or from Stanford or from Oxford or from MIT. So they call all of those MOOC or MOOC, Massive Open Online Content. So there are these are universities, top leading world universities that you can go to learn programming, to learn project management, to learn different IT skills for free. You get them for free. And imagine the caliber of lecturers and educators and instructors that have come together to put these resources together, right? And then they are giving it out for free. You don't even have to pay a dime for it. So this is important, right? Take advantage of these resources. We have the one from Khan Academy. I think this Khan Academy and Free Code Camp, they focus a lot on, the coding bit. Then YouTube, I mean, the king and master of all resources. You learn whatever it is you want to learn on YouTube. You would definitely find something on YouTube, right? So Udemy and Coursera as well, you get free courses on them. Again, I should add that there are times when you need to pay for these resources. Don't run away or don't shy away from paying for these resources, because in the end they would add to your employability, right? Um, there are other resources that are available online. You can look for them and start learning based on the parts and the area where you want to specialize in. Then I think my golden rule, should I call it my golden rule? I don't think it's a standard anywhere, but I think it's important, is to learn by doing. Okay, this would probably be like a parting word from me to you. All right, so if you go on YouTube and spend the next 120 hours watching videos on how to build a web application, and all you are doing is watching the videos and seeing how the web page is changing from the blank page to and then the guy is doing things and it's looking like magic to you, and then at the end of 120 hours the website is ready, and then You think you have learned something. I'm sorry, maybe you've only learned 30%, right? So there's something called project-based learning. So what it means is you need to do it's more like do as I do, right? So if I'm typing greater less than h1 greater than h1, you're also typing it on your end. What that does for you is, first, it will reinforce what you have learned, right? So if you need to do h1 greater than h1 less than h1 again on your own, you don't need to come back to my video to learn how to do that. You've already done it one time, you've executed the program, and you've seen how it ran, right? So this helps, so you can confidently answer questions based on what you've done. Or that, and it's different when, imagine, okay, say for instance, I am deploying a program um on an outdated technology, right? And you watch a video on how I deploy the program. You watch the maybe 2 hours video, you watch it religiously from beginning to the end, maybe even watch it like 3 times. And then someone asks you to come and deploy that same program on a newer technology. There's a chance that the new program might not be backward compatible. So what would you do when you start facing errors? What you could have done to avoid headaches and problem would be, while I'm developing my own program in the video, in the tutorial, you're also developing yours. And if you're facing error, then your problem thinking or problem solving cap needs to be worn. Then you put on your problem solving cap and then look for how to fix the error. That way you have learned more than I've taught you in the video, because in my own video I didn't encounter any error, but now you're encountering error and then you're also fixing it, right? So if you need to do that again somewhere else, you don't even need to make reference to my video. You've learned how to do it on your own, and you can, replicate what you've learned. Again, while we are learning by doing, it is important to keep records, right? So I don't know, it feels like I'm an ambassador for Notion, but it's a note keeping application, right? Notion. So that's the name. It's a note keeping application. You can access it on any platform. So if you download and install it on your laptop and you create an account, whatever notes you write there, maybe you don't have your laptop with you. If you download and install Notion on your phone, you can access everything you've jotted down on that same application. So it's cloud based and it synchronizes it synchronizes across all your devices. So it's very important that while you are learning by doing, you also need to take notes. Notes are really important, because there are times when you you might not remember everything, right? You might not. There's a lot of things to learn. There's a lot of things to know. There's a lot of things to. And this head, I mean, the brain is really capable, but at the same time, there are times when we are thinking of, maybe we're very hungry and we're thinking of the food we eat, and somebody's asking you, "How do you fix this error in this code?" Come on, I can't reconcile those two thoughts. I can't be hungry and be fixing code at the same time. So all I can just quickly go to my Notion, application, look for the solution to your problem and give it to you, right? So it's very important to take notes and then make them organized. And then again, project-based learning. So if you have developed a website from a tutorial you watched online, where did you save it? Did you just save it on your local system and nobody can make reference to it? So if you're trying to teach yourself to me now and you say, okay, well, I've developed an e-commerce application that does this and does that. So where is it? And you tell me, oh, it's on my system and my laptop is at home, then what are you telling me about? You might as well be lying to me, right? So you need to have should let me call it a an online portfolio, right? So once you're doing all of these projects, you have to save them to a portfolio that is accessible online as well. So one I know of is GitHub, right? So you can say, or GitLab, you could use GitHub or GitLab. There are other portfolio applications that you can use. You can even use Notion as well, depending on the kind of projects you are working on, the kind of project you're building. Notion can also work for you. You can use Medium, right? So again, all of this, you create your personal account, whatever it is you save there is what you find. So all of your projects are available on your repo, such that all you need to do is maybe just even send someone the URL and say, check see the things I've done. The person goes through them, and all the answers to their questions are in the project, and they evaluate you based on what you've done. And trust me, if you have a number of projects that are encouraging, there is no they can't push you aside. They can't say you're not worth the job. But if I'm to hire two people, I'm not an HR. Thank God I won't have to make that decision. But if I'm to hire two people and one person shows me 20 certifications and the other person shows me 20 projects that they've actually done and completed. So if the person with 20 certifications don't show me projects, I'm going to go with person with project because I know that this person has hands-on and I need hands-on. I don't need head knowledge. I don't need theory one, theory two, theory three. I need someone that can, get the work done and get dirty in the business, right? So yeah, very important. I've mentioned learning by doing. So when you're learning, all of those massive free resources where you can learn from, you do as alongside you practice. And then when you're practicing, you take notes, and then as you're taking notes, you're saving them to a portfolio that can be accessible, that you can present to an employer. And trust me, in whatever niche or whatever area you have decided to specialize in, when you put all of this in place, you're definitely going to stand out. So I'll leave you with a parting word that you should remember: every journey begins with a single step. You need to take it one step at a time, and before you know it, you'll be miles ahead. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. I don't know if anyone has any question, and this will be the end of my presentation. Thank you.
All right, that was a very, very impacting session. Thank you very much for that impacting session. Yeah, you guys need to send in your emoji. Like that was awesome. So if you have questions, kindly use the hand signal. If you have question, just click on the hand signal below your button session over there. Okay, since there is no question coming in, I would like to um give a short recap of today's event like I always do. Mr. Jeremiah has really, really spoke a lot. Started with giving us tips on how to like break into the tech industry. So it's about doing research, differentiating between opinions and facts. Opportunities are a lot. You need to position yourself so take advantage of all these opportunities. It gave us definition of tech, listed 17 career paths, and explained each and every career path. He also gave us 10 things we need to do. Okay, there's a question here. I'm seeing a question here. What is the best way to get a job as an information security analyst? Mr. Jeremiah, are you still here with us?
Yes, mommy, I'm here. All right. Um, to get a job as an information security analyst, first, you need to understand what information security is about. So I'm assuming you do have an idea of what information security is about. But if you don't, it's not a problem. Basically, the long and short of information security is you need like securing digital information, right? So information is stored on digital devices across an organization, and they need to be secured from unauthorized access. They need to be secured from being stolen, being tampered with, or from them getting lost. So that is your job as an information security analyst on a high level. Now, you need to get knowledge on how to do that, right? And like we said during the presentation, there are resources online. So, what skill would you need to to get into the information security industry? First, you need to understand computing as a whole. You need to, of course, you need to be able to know your it's not just surface level computing, not just knowing how to type on the keyboard. You need to understand the nitty-gritty of what a digital device can do. So How do you track information flow on your system? Where is information stored? If I do something on my system, is there somewhere I can track it? Right. So all of this knowledge will be gotten from, if you try to skill up. Say for instance, you go online and look for resources on Compare A plus now. There are videos on YouTube that will teach you basic level computing. Again, in the information security world, eh, devices are networked amongst each other. So you want to learn networking. You want to know what it means to network internally and network externally. You want to know how, organizations are able to host applications internally and deploy them to the outside world without both fields colliding. So that's, you can find information, or you can find, resources on maybe Network Plus, for instance. That's CompTIA. Then information security, on its own, there are different resources you can find. Maybe Security Plus will teach you basic security principles like the CIS triad. That's the confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Then there is the whole social engineering. There's the whole, encryption and hashing. A lot of terminologies and information you need to know to succeed in information security. Now, I understand that you might be coming in as an entry level, and if you're coming in as an entry level, all of this knowledge would suffice, because then you're coming as an entry level. If you have all of this, it helps you settle into the job. But you could build projects again in information security. We have different projects online on GitHub on itself. So say for instance now, I know of, so in the information security world, there is what we call a SIEM. That's the Security Information and Event Management. So it's like a whole solution that monitors how information flows, how they can be protected, how you can, detect and respond to attacks, and all of those things. You can build your own projects in that area. There are different open source SIEM solutions online that you can deploy. Once you deploy them, do a number of use cases, try, if I try to brute force into my application, what happens? How is it detected? How do I prevent this attack? And if I try to maybe send a malware to a user on this network, is the malware detected? How is it, what is the response like? Right? So what is the event like? So getting all of those skills and those knowledge from ground up until building your own project will definitely set you apart. Even if you've not had industry experience, if you spin your CV to show what you've done, the skills you've gained, and the projects you've built, trust me, you get an interview. And if you can present yourself very well, I have a very high, you know, chance of sorry, I have a very high feeling that you get the job. Yes, I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you very much for the reply. I believe John has received his reply, his response to his answer by now. Not just his response, he even gave you directions on things you should add. That is, if you're already in the field already, there are things you still need to work on. Okay, so that's about that. Okay, like I was saying the other time, we also spoke about introduction to IT certifications, all the certificates where you can get certificates. I spoke about things we should do, which is learn by doing, need to take notes, and need to have a portfolio. There was different platforms and the likes. It was an interesting session, and please, I would like you guys to fill in the feedback form. The link is in the comment section. Is in the comment section. Do well to fill in the feedback form. I'm very sure you have been impacted a lot this night. And shout out to our speaker first. It was a very, very great session. It was nice having you on board. Shout out to Outnovately Africa. Shout out to Google Developer Student Club, which are my people. Shout out to everyone that joined the event tonight. I believe you have all gained a lot this night. And please, like I always said, do well to take actions. Don't just listen to all of these and, gain these informations. Take actions. Take actions. So we're calling it a day tonight. Right now, have a wonderful night rest. Bye bye. See you in the next session next month. Yeah, do well to fill in the feedback form. You definitely get the recording session. You definitely get the recording link through your mail. Yes, if you register for the event and fill in the feedback form, you definitely get the recording of the event.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's that about that. Good night.